Hi, this is Munson with Munson Music. I'm going to talk about how you could play a song called I Was the One by Elvis Presley. And it starts off with this cool little lead guitar part. And if you wanted to kind of follow those notes, you could start 5th fret on the B string. And we do that 1, 2, 3 times, and then another 2 times, and then go to 3rd fret on the B, and then 1st fret on the B 3 times, and then we do 1st fret on the B again, and then open B, and then 1st fret on the B, and then 3rd fret on the B string 6 times, and then we go to 8th fret on the B is kind of a slide, kind of happens, so we kind of play 8 and just let your finger kind of slide down the neck. So you got 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 3, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 8. Or if you wanted to, you could kind of add in a couple other notes and kind of harmonize that with some things called thirds. So we did 5th fret on the G string with 5th fret on the B string at the same time. It's a C and an E note and it sounds sweet. So you'd have kind of 5s, and then we go to the 3rd fret on the B, you could go to 4th fret on the G at the same time. And then we could kind of play in a B and a D note. And then we could slide that down to 1st fret and 2nd fret for an A and a C note together. And then we do that again, and then open B and open G to kind of get a G and a B note, and then go back to A and C with the 1 and 2. And then we go to the 3 on the B string with 4th fret on the G again. It's kind of that B and D note. And then on the top, you could kind of take that shape and slide it up to 8 and 9, and then kind of work that as your slide loop at the end. So if you wanted to kind of harmonize it, that could be kind of a cool idea too. So that might be kind of a cool thing to kind of follow. And the chords that back us up on our intro start on a C major chord. When you play C major, first finger goes to B on the 1st fret, second finger on the D string 2nd fret, and 3rd finger on the A string 3rd fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a C major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. And then from the C, we'd be going to an A minor. We play A minor. 1st fret kind of stays on the B string 1st fret, 2nd finger on the D string 2nd fret, and 3rd finger goes to the G string on the 2nd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds an A minor chord, and it sounds really, really sad. And then from the A minor, we're going to go into a D minor chord. When we play D minor, 1st finger goes to the high E on the 1st fret, 2nd finger on the G string 2nd fret, and 3rd or 4th finger on the B string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds a D minor chord, and it sounds really, really sad. And then from the D minor, we're going to go into a G major chord. We play G major. 1st finger goes to A on the 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the low E string on the 3rd fret, and 3rd finger on the high E string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now the feel of the intro though is kind of around that 6 idea, kind of that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm kind of doing that downs and kind of taking my right hand and kind of muting the strings. So you got kind of a C, A minor, D minor, G. But you can kind of feel it in 2 too. And if you wanted to, you could kind of work that C with a down, down up, and then A minor with a down, down up, D minor down, down up, G down, down up. And then from there, then we'll be going into our first verse. And our first verse starts on C, and then we go to A minor, and then we go to D minor, and then we go to a G, and then we go back to C, and then we go to A minor, and then we go to a G, and another G, and then we go back to C. But then you may want to take the pinky and kind of add it in on the G string 3rd fret for a C7 chord, which sounds really nasty, but it helps point to an F major chord. When you play F major, 1st finger goes across the entire 1st fret, 2nd finger on the G string 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the A string 3rd fret, and the pinky on the D string 3rd fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds an F major bar chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now a good substitute for that can be F major 7. When we play F major 7, 1st finger goes to the B string on the 1st fret, 2nd finger on the G string 2nd fret, and 3rd finger on the D string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds an F major chord, and it sounds like F major 7. It sounds really groovy happy. And then from the F, we're going to be going to a D major chord. When we play D major, 1st finger goes to the G string on the 2nd fret, 2nd finger on the high E 2nd fret, and 3rd finger on the B string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds a D major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. You're kind of hearing the bass on that where the low E string on the 2nd fret, F sharp note, kind of comes out of that, and that's called D slash F sharp. But you could kind of bring just the thumb over the top and kind of cover that note. Or you could even readjust your fingers and do first finger on the low E second, second finger on the G string second, third finger on the high E second, and the pinky on the B string on the third. If you strum all those together, that sounds a D slash F sharp, or a D with an F sharp in the bass too. Or you could use a D7 chord, and then we play D7. First finger goes to the B on the first fret, second finger on the G string second fret, third finger on the high E second fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds a D7 chord. It sounds really nasty. Or you could even do the D7, or D7 slash F sharp, by doing first finger on the B string first fret, second finger on the low E second fret, third finger on the G string second fret, and the pinky on the high E second fret. And kind of make that a D7 with an F sharp in the bass. And then from the D7 slash F sharp on that first verse, we go back to C, and then we do another C, and then we go to G, and then we do another G. So we tried that with kind of that six muting idea. We'd have kind of C, A minor, D minor, G, C, A minor, G, G, C, C7, F, D7 slash F sharp, C, C, on the down up on each chord, and we could kind of try that. And from there, we'd be going into our next verse. So we try our second verse with kind of a down up idea. We'd have C, down up, A minor, down up, D minor, down up, G, down up, C, down up, A minor, down up, G, down up, G, down up, C, down up, C7, down up, F. Bridge part. And on our bridge, we start on the F major chord, then we do another F, and then you'll hear that change to a sad F sound. And so it goes to an F minor chord. So you kind of lift off the second finger of the bar F. That's one way you could play F minor. Or if you want to avoid the bars, you could kind of make it a smaller bar by doing first finger over the E and the B string or the G string. And actually, if you do just the G, B, and E as kind of a mini bar, everybody loves mini bars. You could do the D string for your bass on that, and it's called D half diminished 7, which is a really cool substitute for F minor. And then from the F minor, we go back to C, and then we go to a G chord, which you'll kind of hear where the A string on the second fret kind of comes out as a bass note. That's called G slash B. We'll talk more about basses later. And then from the G, we go back to C, and then another C, and then we go to a D major, and another D, and another D, and another D. A stop time on D where you kind of do kind of a down and kind of kill the strings, and it comes back in on kind of that G with kind of the triplet feel at the very end. So through that bridge part, if we did just the 6 downs, we'd have the F, F minor, C, G slash B, C, C, and then we come back in on the G, and then, or if we try the down up idea, we'd have F, down up, F, down up, F minor, down up, F minor, down up, C, down up, G, down up, C, down up, C, down up, D, down up, B, down up, D, down up, D, down up, stop time on D, and then we kind of come back in with our triplets, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then from there, we go into our next verse. Now, one other thing I think about adding to this song, though, is bass notes. And a lot of times on that first down, especially if you're doing just the down up on each chord, you kind of throw in a bass note for the chord. So on the C, you'd have the A for the bass. On the A minor, you'd have the A string for the bass. On the D minor, you'd have the D for the bass. On the G, you'd have the low E for the bass. On the F bar, the F minor bar, actually, you'd have the low E for the bass. And on the F minor 7, or F major 7, you'd have the D for the bass, and on the D half diminished 7, you'd have the D for the bass, and on the D7s and the D major chords, we'd have the D string for the bass, unless we're throwing in the low E string for the bass, for the D slash F sharp or the D C7/F sharp. Or on the G chord, actually, sometimes we do the G/B actually in that bridge part where we want to use the A string for the bass on the G chord, making a G chord but with a B in the bass, so G/B. So we tried that next verse with kind of a bass down up idea. We'd have C with an A bass, down A minor with an A bass, down D minor with a D bass, down G with Louis bass, down C with an A bass, down A minor with an A bass, down G with Louis bass, down G with Louis bass, down C with an A bass, down C7 with an A bass, down F with a bass, down D/F sharp, down C with an A bass, down G with Louis bass, down C with an A bass, down C7 with an A bass. And if we tried that idea through our next bridge, we would have F with the bass, down F with the bass, down F minor with the, or D half bridge with the D bass, C with an A bass, G/B with an A bass, C with an A bass, C with an A bass, D with a D 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 down, and then we come back in all our G's. And then from there, then we be going into kind of our last verse chorus. And at the very end of our last verse chorus, actually, there's a cool hit where you may want to do a C chord with kind of a big down, and then you'll hear this cool little bass lick come in where you play 3 of the low E's, and then we go to first fret on the low E, and then second fret on the low E, and then third fret on the low E. And then what you may want to do is if you take the C7 chord shape that we've been playing and slide it over 1 fret, if you play just the A and the string to the B string, that sounds a D flat 7. At the very end, you might hear this cool little punch where you might want to play a D flat 7, and I'm kind of strumming just the A string to the B string, and then take that to the C7 at the very end. So at the very end of that first chorus, you got open E, first fret, second fret, 3, D flat C is kind of that outro part. So we tried that. Yeah, you might want to kind of try alternating with all these ideas or find a way that works for you and kind of run with it. But even switching between the different ways that we're talking about or mixing it up can be kind of a cool thing too. So you may want to kind of play around with different ways, or using bass notes and kind of going to the downs too can be kind of cool. C7, F with the B bass, D/F sharp, C. C, you might want to go crazy if you're playing it out to make people clap. But that's the basics of how you get strummed through I Was the One by Elvis Presley. So good luck!